I was cooking my in-laws a holiday dinner when my father-in-law said, "She tries too hard. Real women don't need to prove themselves." My husband replied, "At least she's trying." The whole table laughed. I sat there holding a serving spoon, wondering how I'd become a joke. That New Year's, I didn't say a word. I just left. When they showed up to reconcile, I greeted them from behind a desk as their new landlord. Let me tell you exactly how I ended up sitting behind a desk, watching my husband's parents squirm in the chairs across from me, trying to make peace, after they made me feel like I was nothing. It started one cold Christmas Eve in Gainesville, Texas. Aaron, my husband, had begged me to come with him. His family always did a big thing. His dad, Rick, acted like he was king of the house, and his mom, Carol, was the kind of woman who had a problem with anything that didn't look like her. You know the type. Blonde, cold eyes, probably has a church casserole with her name on it. They never really liked me. Not once. I could feel it from the moment I met them. I wasn't born in the right part of town. I didn't go to the same schools. I didn't grow up with tennis lessons and designer purses. I worked. I hustled. I learned how to fix drywall and lay tile before I learned how to cook. I had a job managing rental properties and spent weekends with my brother rehabbing homes. They saw that as trashy. Said I was a bit rough around the edges. I heard them say that once when they didn't know I was standing by the laundry room. Still, I tried. Every visit, I brought gifts. I complimented her food, even when it was dry. I asked Rick about his boring job at the credit union. I made conversation. I tried. So that year, I volunteered to cook Christmas dinner. Not just because I wanted them to like me, I guess I wanted to prove something. I brought everything with me. Ham, yams, rolls, my mom's cranberry sauce recipe, even homemade pie crusts. I cooked for hours while they sat in the living room watching football and drinking wine. No one offered to help. Not even Aaron. The table was set, the food smelled good, and for a second, I thought maybe it was all going to be worth it. Maybe they'd see me as part of the family. Then it happened. Rick was reaching for another slice of ham when he said it.
Clear as day.
She tries too hard. Real women don't need to prove themselves. Like I wasn't even in the room. Like I was a dog doing tricks. And then, like that wasn't enough, Aaron, my husband, shrugged and said, "At least she's trying." The room burst out laughing. Even his sister snorted. Carol giggled behind her wine glass like she was a teenager at a slumber party. I stood there with the serving spoon still in my hand, trying to keep my face from falling apart. I looked at Aaron. He didn't even flinch. He just kept eating. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't throw the plate like I wanted to. I finished the dinner. I cleared their plates. I washed the dishes while they sat back and talked about ski trips and tax write-offs. I smiled and nodded and made myself invisible. That night, I didn't say a word. Not to Aaron. Not to anyone. The next morning, I told him I had a migraine and needed to go home early. We left before they were even up. He didn't question it. What he didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I'd made a decision during that dinner. Right there, in the middle of their laughter, I made a promise to myself. I'd never sit at their table again. I wasn't going to fight for a seat. I was going to own the whole damn table. After that night, everything changed. I stopped trying. I stopped calling his mom. I stopped reminding Aaron to visit. I stopped pretending like I wanted anything to do with his family. At home, I told him I was tired from work, that I needed space. He thought I was just in a slump. In truth, I was planning. See, I'd been working in property management for almost 7 years by then. I'd been learning the ins and outs of real estate since I was 23. At 32, I knew how to read a deed, how to negotiate liens, how to spot a house bleeding money just by looking at the shingles. What I didn't have yet was capital, but I had a plan for that too. I called up my brother, Jake. We'd been flipping properties together on and off, mostly smaller homes. I told him I was ready to go bigger. "You sure?" he asked. "You're talking about taking out a second loan." "I'm sure," I said. "We're going to find something good." For months, we scouted. I worked during the day, scrolled foreclosure sites at night. I went to auctions. I took meetings during my lunch break. Aaron had no idea. He just thought I was buried in my job. Then one day, Jake called me. "You're not gonna believe this," he said. "There's a house about to go into foreclosure in Gainesville. Needs work, but it's solid. Decent lot. And you'll love this." "What?" "It's Rick and Carol's address." I froze. I asked him to double-check. He sent me the property record. And there it was. 512 Redbud Lane. The same place I had cooked Christmas dinner last year. The same dining room where I stood, humiliated, with that stupid spoon in my hand. I looked at the numbers. They were 3 months behind on the mortgage. The house had equity, but no one wanted to buy it in its current condition. It had foundation cracks and roof issues. The bank was days away from starting foreclosure. We made a move. Jake and I offered to buy the debt.
Fast.
We take over the mortgage, cover back payments, and do the repairs ourselves. It was legal, clean, and honestly, they should have been grateful someone wanted it. A week later, we owned it. Aaron didn't know. I kept everything in my name. I told him Jake and I had closed on a new investment and I was managing the reno. It took 2 months to fix it. New roof. Leveled the foundation. Repainted the exterior. While the work was happening, I made sure to drive by every now and then. I wanted them to see me. I wanted Rick to notice I was still here, still standing, still trying. They didn't know.
Not yet.
Then one night in March, Aaron came home looking nervous. "My parents got a letter," he said. "Some kind of transfer. New ownership. I guess the mortgage got bought." I played dumb.
Weird.
"That happened a lot." "Sometimes," he said. "They're freaking out." I bet they were. A few days later, Carol called. Left me a voicemail, first time in a year. "Hey, I think we might need your help. We heard your company handles properties. Maybe you could talk to whoever owns our mortgage now? We're trying to stay here. We just need time." I didn't call back. Instead, I had my assistant schedule a meeting. I made sure it was in person. They came in on a Wednesday. I wore a black blazer and a white blouse.
Clean hair.
Simple makeup. Neutral face. I sat behind my desk at the new office we'd leased in Denton, another property Jake and I were rehabbing into a mixed-use space. My name was on the door. When they walked in, they froze. Rick looked older, more tired. Carol's makeup was heavy, like she was trying too hard. I wondered if she could tell I noticed.
"Hi," I said.
"Thanks for coming." They stared at me. "You're the—" "Yes," I said. "I'm your new landlord." Rick's face turned red, like blood rushing, jaw tightening red. Carol looked like she'd been slapped. I don't understand," she said, clutching her purse like it might save her. "How can you own our house?" I leaned back in my chair.
Calm.
Collected. Inside, my heart was pounding, but not from nerves. It was from the sheer satisfaction. "My brother and I purchased the note," I said. "Technically the mortgage. The house still belongs to you for now." Rick leaned forward, elbows on my desk like he still thought he had some kind of power. "Are you seriously going to kick us out? Over a dinner joke?" That word.
Joke.
I smiled. "You stopped paying your mortgage," I said. "This isn't about a joke. This is business." Carol reached across the desk. "We can make it up. We're just behind a few payments." The bank wasn't willing to work with us, but we're not a bank, I said. We're an investment group. We buy properties that are losing value, and we turn them around. They both sat quiet. I let that sink in. "We've already spent a lot fixing what you neglected," I added. "Roof, foundation, plumbing issues. You didn't even notice the termite damage, did you?" Rick's mouth opened, but nothing came out. Aaron didn't know yet. I could have told him, but I wanted to see how far they'd go first. "I'm willing to give you 60 days, I said. "You can either catch up and buy the house back at market value or move." Carol blinked fast, like she was trying to hold back tears. "Where would we go?" she whispered. I didn't say anything. Rick stood. "You've always hated us." I stood too.
No.
I just finally stopped pretending. They left in silence. Later that night, Aaron found the documents. I'd left them on the kitchen table, partly by mistake, partly not.
He confronted me.
Tell me this isn't what I think it is. I didn't flinch. It is. You bought my parents' house. I saved it, I said. They were about to lose it anyway. His face twisted in something between anger and disbelief. You could have told me. Like you told me you'd defend me that night? Like you laughed at them while I stood there with a spoon in my hand. That shut him up. But the silence that followed wasn't peace. It was the beginning of a new war. The next 2 months were hell. Aaron barely looked at me. He didn't move out, but he stopped talking. Ate dinner in silence. Slept on the couch some nights. It wasn't just about the house. It was about what I'd become in his eyes. But the truth is, I didn't care anymore. Not enough. I gave his parents the full 60 days. Sent reminders. Called once. Left one voicemail. They ignored it all. Maybe they thought I wouldn't go through with it. Maybe they still thought they were untouchable. On day 61, I filed the eviction notice. They responded by calling Aaron in tears, begging him to fix it. He showed me the texts. Carol had sent one that said, "She's destroying our family just to prove a point." I laughed out loud. Aaron didn't. He left a week later. Said he needed time to think. That was fine. I had work to do. The court process took 3 weeks. I didn't show up in person. My lawyer handled everything. We won easily. I gave them 10 more days to vacate. On the 10th day, I drove to Redbud Lane just to see it for myself. A moving truck was in the driveway. Carol sat on the porch steps, shoulders hunched. Rick wasn't helping. He was on the phone, pacing, probably trying to blame the world one last time. When she saw me, Carol stood.
You got what you wanted, she said.
No, I told her. What I wanted was to be treated like a human being. This is just what happened after. She didn't answer, just turned away. I stood there for a long minute, then walked to my car. Later that month, I sold the house to a young couple with 2 kids. They repainted the porch, planted new flowers, turned it into something warm again. Aaron never came back. I found out a few months later he moved to Austin. Started over. Last I heard, he was dating someone new. I thought it might break me. It didn't. Here's the part people don't get. Revenge doesn't always feel good. Not in the moment. Not even after. Sometimes it just feels like closing a book you loved once, but now hate to look at. I made my point. I took back my dignity. And yeah, I made damn sure they never forgot me. Not as a joke. Not as a girl trying too hard. But as the woman who smiled at them from across a desk, because she owned the floor beneath their feet.